I really appreciate you all being here. I know it's kind of early on a Saturday, but I really appreciate all of your time and attention. So my name is Alison DeNeui, and I'm a senior public relations major, and my emphasis is events and entertainment. So today I'm going to be talking about the importance of human interaction, and I'm going to be looking at that in 3 different ways. So first, I'm going to be looking at how human interaction impacts our health. Second, I'm going to be looking at why human interaction is important for event planning. And third, I'm going to be looking at public relations and kind of how the 3 of those all work together. So before I begin, I want to tell you guys a little bit about myself. So this is a picture of my family. That's my dad, my sister, my mom, my brother, and myself. So I was actually born and raised as a missionary kid in Europe. So I was born in Belgium, and I lived there until I was about 7 years old. And then after that, we moved to Scotland, and I lived there for another 4 years. And then after that, we moved to France, where I completed middle school and high school. So through having that experience, I really learned and was able to see that I was really excited to meet new people and passionate about forming relationships. And although it was always really hard for me to have to leave behind old friends and schools and churches, I remember always being so excited to get to that new destination so that I could start making new friends and getting to know new people. So now, obviously, as I said, I'm a public relations major, and it's been really cool for me to be able to see how I can study human relationships and human interactions, not only on an academic level, but also on a business level. So next, I want to talk to you guys about why human interaction is important for our health. So when we interact with people, there are feel-good chemicals that are released in our body called serotonin. And when we experience that, our mood is boosted and it enhances our overall health and well-being. So it's something that's really interesting, although maybe a lot of us see human interaction as just a fun way to pass time or a fun leisure activity. It's something that we all really do need, and it's something that's really beneficial for our health. And so it also allows us to have a sense of community and a sense of belonging. And when we interact with other people and share moments with them, it helps us feel as though we're a part of something bigger than just going through our day-to-day lives on our own. So with that being said, I want to share a quick little video with you guys. And in this video, they reference Great Britain several times, but the overall information that they share and the message is really relatable to everyone.
The pursuit of health and happiness. It's an endeavour we're all involved in, to some degree at least. We often make our bodies the focus, but there's a big part of the puzzle that is missing. We are made for community, to be connected with others. In fact, we can't thrive in life without good relationships. But the reality in Britain is that we're more isolated than ever before, living longer, often disconnected from family, with increasingly virtual friendships. And having a sense of community is more and more rare. In fact, statistics show Britain is the loneliest place in Europe. And this isn't just about being alone. Having toxic relationships is just as damaging, and both can lead to depression. A quarter of us say we don't feel emotionally connected to anyone else, and 1 in 4 of us experience mental health problems every year. Not being connected to others can be as bad for your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It can lead to higher blood pressure, poor sleep, damaged immunity, and put us at significantly higher risk of developing certain diseases. It doesn't need to be like this. Being in good relationships is vital to your well-being, and at the Mental Health Foundation, we believe there is an urgent need to make better connections with those around us. If you are pursuing greater happiness, we suggest you start by investing in the people in your life. We can all do something every day to change bad patterns, connect with those around us, and improve the quality of our relationships. It's not rocket science. We need to be connected. So whether it's the man at the bus stop, the lady who lives upstairs, Dad, your old school friend, or a colleague at work, there is someone you can connect with right now. Find out more.
Okay, so through that video, hopefully you guys were able to see some of the ways that our bodies and our health are impacted by human interaction. So as I mentioned earlier, sometimes we don't necessarily always think about how our actual health can be affected, but as you saw, when we don't interact with people, it can higher our blood pressure, it can decrease our immune system, and it just really can take a toll on our body. So essentially, interacting with other people is a really good way to promote our health and keep us healthy. Another thing that I want to share with you guys is, although we all are different and some people may prefer smaller interactions with less people, or some people may prefer larger with more crowded atmosphere, we all do need human interaction in one way or another. So I think it's really important to have that foundational understanding when we think about human interaction. So next, I want to talk to you guys about event planning and how human interaction is really important to event planning. So as I mentioned, having that foundational understanding of the importance of human interaction is something that has really helped me through looking at event planning. So when I hopefully will do event planning, it's important for me to have that interaction with my client and not just focus on the logistics of the event, but really get to know my client and interact with them. But then also through planning an event, I'll be providing my clients with an opportunity to interact with their guests. And so that's really exciting for me to be able to see that not only am I getting human interaction, but I'm promoting it for other people. So now I just want to share with you guys a little bit about my experience. Last semester, I was able to intern at Gardena Presbyterian Church, and I was the event coordinator for the youth in the college group. And this is just a picture of one of the smaller events that I did, but we went to Pomona Pumpkin Patch, and then we got dinner after, and it was a really good time. So through coordinating this, I was able to see all of the work that kind of goes into planning an event and what that kind of looks like. And through doing that, I saw how much communication and interaction was important even prior to the event. So before the event, there was a lot of interaction and communication to make sure that this event would work for everyone and that it was a viable option for everyone. But then also when we got to the event, it was really rewarding for me to see how everyone was interacting together. So in this picture, there are a lot of different personalities that I got to know through my internship, but it was really fun to see everyone coming together and putting aside their differences and just having a really enjoyable time together. So next, I would like to share another example. This is an example of celebrity event and wedding planner Lisa Vorse, and some of her clients were John Legend and Chrissy Teigen. She helped plan their wedding. So in an interview, she was asked, "Tell us a bit about your creative process. When you first meet with a client to start planning an event, what are your first steps?" And she said, "It's critical for me to understand my clients at their core so I can design accordingly for them. I also feel strongly about maintaining authenticity in whatever location we're in. From there, the design direction is clear. I'm designing for a specific space using my clients' personalities as the driving force. When the event or wedding day comes to fruition, my clients literally resonate in the space, as it is a tangible extension of who they are on the inside. It's a great feeling to have guests walk into our events and say, 'Oh, this is so them.' In my book, it's one of the loveliest compliments I receive." So I chose this quote to share with you guys because for me it was really encouraging and kind of inspirational to see someone who's been so successful and working with really interesting clients that values human interaction and really getting to know her clients personally so that she can help create an event that really reflects them. And as I said before, not only looking at the logistical side, so like vendors or venues, but just really getting time to, as she said, get to know her clients to her core so that she can create an event that really represents them and that can represent them to their guests as well. So next, I want to speak about public relations. So I'm sure all of you guys know the definition for public relations, but I still want to share it with you guys. So the PRSA definition is public relations is a strategic communication process that builds mutually beneficial relationships between organizations and their publics. So again, although most of you probably already know this, this is something that I wanted to include because it's been really important to me during my time here and through the courses I've been taking and through kind of thinking ahead about what I want to do after my time here, and always remembering that my goal is to try to help create this mutually beneficial relationship. So whether it's between myself and my client, and making sure that throughout whatever I'm doing, I'm maintaining this relationship and making sure it's mutually beneficial to both myself and my client, but also allowing my clients to have a mutually beneficial relationship with their guests at the event. So whether their guests are potential clients or family or friends, it's something that I think is really important to be able to remember that, I'm just kind of there to help create this relationship that will be beneficial for everyone. So in saying that, I also think it's important to look back to the basics and remember the basics that I've learned here at Biola through taking PR classes. So kind of implementing things such as the RPI method. So looking at research, programming, implementation, evaluation, and also at looking at SWOT analysis, so thinking of the strengths, the weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and using those tactics and skills to just overall evaluate and assess how I can best create this event, and so that I can create something that's really, as I mentioned earlier, beneficial for my clients and their guests as well. So with that being said, I now want to share a few Bible verses that have really inspired me when I've been doing this project, and also that have really helped me during my journey studying public relations. So the first verse that I chose is Genesis 2:22, and it says, "Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man." So the reason for why I chose this one is because it's showing that Christ is creating, he was creating Eve to accompany Adam, and I chose this because it's kind of the first example in Bible that shows that there was human interaction and that God created two people to have human interaction so that we don't just live independently on our own, but so that we can have other people around us. The second verse that I chose is Hebrews 10:24 through 25. It says, "And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another." So as a college student right now, and I think at any stage in our life, we all go through things that can be really challenging and difficult. So for me, this verse kind of resonated with me because it kind of reminded me that when we are going through these things, it's important to have human interaction and to remember to all come together and encourage each other, because life can be really hard sometimes. So it's really amazing to be able to have people that can surround us and lift us up and encourage us. So the last verse that I want to share with you guys is Romans 12:4 through 5, and it says, "For just as each of us has one body with many members, and these members do not all have the same function, so in Christ we, though many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others." So I chose this verse because, again, as we're each different as individuals, we all have our own strengths and things that we're really good at, but I think that it's really important to embrace those, but also be able to come together with other people and use other people's skills as well to sharpen our own skills and to really work together. So specifically for me as an event planner, to not just solely rely on what I'm good at and looking at the logistical side of an event, but also maybe interacting with other event planners and really, as I mentioned before, interacting with my client to make sure that everything is being involved and considered to make the best possible event. So again, I wanted to share this with you guys because I think it really reflected how God has created us to interact with one another and to live in community with one another. So now I just kind of want to reflect back on what I shared in the beginning, and just that I'm really thankful and appreciative of the experience that I had growing up, because it instilled a passion for people and making friends and getting to know new people, and at such a young age. And through that, I've kind of now been on this journey learning public relations and hopefully becoming a successful event planner. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you all so much for listening.